Hi, I'm Liliana, and this is Behind the Cam, Unmasked Stories. This is a space for the real stories behind the screen, the ones that don't always get heard, the messy middle. Here we lead with curiosity. We listen without rushing to judgment, and we honor the human behind every camera. Whether you're part of the industry, connected to it, or simply here to understand, you're welcome here. Take a deep breath with me. Now, let's begin. When the camera turns off, the silence feels louder than people expect. The light cools down. The screen goes dark. The chat disappears. And for a second, just for a second, I can still feel the energy in the room, even though no one is there. That's the part people don't think about. In episode 1, I told you how I survived. Today, I want to talk about what it takes to stay. This is Behind the Cam, Unmasked Stories. And episode is about what happens after survival. This is being looked at. There's something cancer changes that no one prepares you for. You get used to being looked at, not admired, but examined and measured, talked about like your body is a case study. Fluorescent lights, cold hands, a voice in discussing you as if you're not inside your own skin anymore. After months of that, visibility changed. So when I sit in front of the camera now, it's not natural. It's layered. The preview window isn't just an image, it's a decision, something that I have to go through. Some nights I stare at myself and I'm not asking, do I look okay? I'm asking, are you ready to be seen? Sometimes it's no. And even now, even after I've somewhat healed, even after returning, there are nights confidence weaves in and out. It shows up in the body. My chest tightens slightly. My shoulders raise. My breath gets shallow. And the thoughts slip in quietly. What if they judge me? What if they laugh at me? What if they leave? And that deep one question, what if no one comes in at all? That fear isn't dramatic. It's really just physical. And a drop in my stomach, a flicker in my throat. Because cancer already taught me what it felt like to lose something so suddenly. So absence hits deeper than it should. And I have to remind myself, visibility is a choice now, not something taken, but something I choose. The body after reconstruction isn't the same. It wasn't just my chest that changed. It was my stomach, a scar that I now carry from hip to hip. very low, long, and permanent. Before I ever turned that camera back on, there was the mirror. The first time I stood in front of that alone, drains gone, swelling had settled. The new shapes, I didn't cry. I just kind of stood there and looked. It was still me, my body, but it felt rearranged, like Humpty Dumpty, maybe. I traced those scars very slow, kind of like a roadmap. I remember the feelings of not much feeling. The sensation is gone, the numbing. And that, my friend, is real. I was learning myself all over again. And underneath everything was this burning question, a question inside. Is this still sexy or desirable? I don't want to be strong right now. I don't want to be really brave. I want to be desired. I want to be sexy. Because survival doesn't erase my sexuality at all. It only complicated it. It made it to that point where, do you feel sexy? Because cancer took that. I mean, I went for 2.5 years without my breast, and tell you, I did not feel sexy. I felt very enclosed. And a little bit back on that was I did have a hysterectomy when I was 24. So I already had my femininity taken in a way to the point where I didn't feel quite like a woman because I couldn't have kids. It was, this was the second part of it all. To lose your breast was like, okay, well, what now? What do I have? What do I have to offer? So sexually beautiful, desired? I'm not sure. I wondered. The first time I woke up from my surgery and drain tubes, everything rearranged. I could not use my arms, stand up straight at all. And it wasn't because I was, weak. Well, I was because I just had surgery, but because my body wouldn't allow me. Everything from, up top down to lower belly pulled, felt tight. Like I had been literally cut open, rearranged, put back together like Humpty Dumpty. Let's move this piece to this place and this place to this place. So the nurse had to help me stand. And I remember the shock. I had to lean forward, slightly crouched, walk slightly bent at the knees, slumped over. Every step was measured. And believe me, it was very slow, precise. The incisions pulled with each movement. Not screaming pain, but very constant and aware pain. Let me know. Don't do that yet. Because when I had always stood very tall, and I'm 5'9". I stood very tall even during my chemo, even when I was bald, even when I was exhausted. But this was very different. This wasn't, the normal. This was structural change. And I remember thinking, will I ever move normal again? Not posture like I used to. That posture lives in your memory now. So when I sit upright in front of a camera now, those muscles, that memory there still pulls a little. My body remembers walking very hunched over, remembers holding my stomach when I laughed in my chest or coughed or I did anything. I remember sitting, sleeping straight up because I couldn't lay down flat. Now, confidence after surgery is so different. It is not assumed anymore. It has to be reclaimed, and very hard to reclaim. That first night back on camera, there were many times, many nights I tried to come back. I'd set up my lights. I'd make sure that everything looked good, get the lights just perfect so shadows didn't accentuate anything. I'd sit there, I'd hover over that go live button, and I would close it down. No, not doing this. Can't walk away. Because being healed doesn't mean being ready. And I'm not even all the way healed. But there was one night, after many, many times, I didn't shut down. I actually sat there and I hit go live now. And I sat in a very empty room. It was that I can do this. I got it. I'm here. I'm doing it. I'm going forward with this. I'm going to go live. I could do this. I know I can. So I did. It was very empty. Viewer count was 0. And I stared at that number longer than I should have, much longer. The voices started immediately. What if this was not right? What if this is a mistake? What if this body isn't what it used to be? Of course it's not. It's been rearranged. What if they leave when they see you? I adjust my posture carefully because that lower scar pulled, especially if I leaned forward too far or I sat up too straight. 5 minutes passed. Felt like forever. It's still empty in here. Nobody's come in. I do a little bit of walking. 10 minutes now on, still nobody. And I felt that urge to log off is rising in me. It's getting there. And I hear this, protect yourself. You're tired. That's enough now. Don't do it. But I didn't listen to him. I stayed. Not because I was feeling very confident, because I really wasn't. Because I refused to disappear this time. When cancer arose on me, I went to my campsite. I shut that laptop down and I closed it up for 4.5 years. I was not going to this time. I had to redefine myself again. And this time I refused. No, you got it. You can do this. Stay online. So I did. Here we are, 50 minutes in. Oh my gosh, one person entered this room. And I'm thinking to myself, yay, somebody. It's just one. It can't be nothing dramatic, but in my mind, I'm dramatic, okay? It was just a normal greeting. But to me, I'm like, hi, how are you? You know, hi, thanks for joining me. Not really, but yeah. And my body unclenched just a little. Not because I needed, well, I kind of did need that validation, but because I needed the proof that altered Humpty Dumpty put back together again didn't mean unwanted. Proof that survival hadn't erased my desirability. That hour was not a glam hour. One customer, very quiet room. I was very careful postured, moving slowly, measuring your breaths because I was still kind of. And then here it came. That one customer. Can I see your chest, please? Now, in this industry, that's not something that's not unnormal to ask or want to see. And I'm telling you, everything inside of me went, oh no, here it is. I can't know. I couldn't breathe. I'm pretty sure he heard me hitch. I tried to weave the conversation to a different direction. I tried everything. And he very slightly and very calmly asked again. I just sat there and clinched up and only words came out, I can't. Just like that. I can't. Very silence. And now I'm shaking because I'm thinking, great. I just lost the only person that came to see me tonight. Okay, here we go. And why? Now, that why sat with me for a long few minutes, and I really thought about why. Well, it's because my own insecurities, my own thinking. Because I don't want to. Do I lie to him or tell the truth? Um, I finally am. I had cancer, and I had a double mastectomy, and I've had reconstruction. This is actually my first time going live again. I just came back tonight, and that's I'm I'm finding out. I guess I'm not comfortable doing this yet, is what I tell the gentleman. And that gentleman was silent for a little bit. I thought he would leave, but he didn't. And what was said next was not what I expected. I really did think in my head, he's like, oh, there he goes. I totally lost him. And now what do I do? He says, you're still gorgeous. Why do you feel that way? Now, me, I'm sitting there thinking, wait, what? You're not leaving? Wait, what? You think I'm gorgeous? Okay, so a little smile comes to my face and says, thank you. I've been having a hard time. It's been 2 years since, or 4 years since I've actually been here, especially after all the surgeries. And I still have one more to go to, ladies and gentlemen. On the 9th of next month, I go in for the last parts of my surgery. So, and I'm like, wait, you think I'm gorgeous? He's like, you're even more now because you came back. You're here. You have this glow about you. And in that moment when he said that to me, I broke. As not because I was sad, but it gave me that strength and made me feel pretty again, feel sexy, desired, wanted. And I didn't think I needed the validation. I thought I had this moment until those words were asked and then until he said what he said. I don't cry usually really pretty. I mean, I was all over the place. I broke down in tears to the point where, sorry, it still catches me sometimes. I was relieved that honesty didn't equal rejection. He sat with me the rest of that show and talked. And, it gave me that little bit of, hey, I can move forward. I can continue. I can get back in front of this camera and feel beautiful. After he logged off, I didn't end the stream right away. I sat there. I sat there, camera was still on. My eyes were red, tears dripping from it. My breathing was very uneven, doing the sniffy thing because I was all, When I finally clicked end broadcast, the room went silent again. But this time that silence wasn't heavy to me. It was very tender. I shut down my computer, sat in the dark for a minute, and I placed my hand over my chest, over my scars, and I whispered to myself, you're still here. You're still beautiful. Not to the audience, but to myself. I needed to tell myself. Now that customer still today comes and sees me in my rooms. And when he does, I see his username pop in and it's always a grand, hi, how are you? Wonderful. He does not, I don't think he realized in that one night, how much he helped through something I struggled. I thought my confidence I had gained until that moment when I was asked, until I did need somebody or something, a little validation out there to tell me And I'm not ashamed to say that I needed that. And I'm not trying to be, I don't know, I guess I'm just being real to you. That's how I felt. And it's okay. Sometimes we might need that. And he still comes and sees me in my rooms. And I love it when he does. And I tell him all the time, thank you. And I even have other customers now that are normals who come see me. And I am very grateful. So when my confidence weaves now, because even now, there are still my nights. I sit down in front of my camera and it's still a little hard. Some nights, confidence is very solid. It's there. I've got it. I'm strong. Some nights, it's very quiet. And then there's some nights, it's just trying. Because after my mastectomy, I remember wondering quietly to myself, will anybody ever look at me the same? No, they're not. Not medically, I didn't want. Not compassionately, but I want, well, they're going to look at me sexy. Yes, they will. That question softens now, but it doesn't vanish completely. Confidence isn't the absence of the fear. It's staying anyways. It's staying even though you want to run away and you face it. Sustainability. Well, survival mode got me through cancer. But survival mode does not build sustainability. Sustainability is quieter. It's logging off when your body says stop now. It's separating the performance from my identity. Because I'm not the performance. I'm a woman who performs, and that distinguishing protects me. Because I rebuilt this body. I relearned how to stand upright. I rebuilt my confidence with help. Now we're going to return back to my room that night. That first hour back wasn't about success. It wasn't about reclamation. I needed to know that I could still sit in that space, in this body, with these scars and not really shrink. And I did. Sometimes confidence is not loud. Sometimes it's just staying. Now, before we close, in the next episode, I sit down with Tristan from the co-founder of We Cam Girls. We talk about community, about the stories, the burnout, the sustainability, because staying in this industry is easier when you have support. So thank you for listening to Behind the Cam. Unmasked stories. Protect your energy. Honor your limits. And remember, what you see on camera is never the whole story. Until next time.